Along with individual experts, Surgeon Masters brings you life improvement strategies in 10 minutes. These proven principles and strategies are easy to learn and can be applied immediately, allowing you to practice your best. Here's your host, Jeff Smith.
Welcome, everyone. On this episode of the Surgeon Masters mini podcast, I have with me Dr. Mel Thacker. She's an ENT surgeon and certified professional coach. Welcome, Mel.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit more about yourself, ENT and coach. Boy, we're now starting to, pollinate or something. There's more and more of us. Tell us about you and your coaching.
Yeah, I think I realized I was a coach before I even knew what coaching was, because I connect with people on such a deep level. And that's always been important to me, especially with patients. And there's almost a fallacy that we have to show up in the clinic as we are the all-knowing ego in the white coat, where we have all the answers. We know the patient's situation. We know their diagnosis. We know their treatment better than they know themselves. And it actually creates a divide. It disconnects us from patients and it makes it harder. I mean, it's no wonder people don't comply when we come at them and say, like, I'm going to hero you. You are a victim of this problem that you're dealing with. And I am the only person, or I am the one who has the magical power with my hands or my skills to make you better, or my prescription pad. But it makes sense how we go this way, because especially in orthopedics or trauma, it's not like you're going to have a conversation with a patient and say, all right, you've been in a car accident and your femur's broken in half. Like, you could just live like that. Or do you want to go to the operating room? I mean, it becomes when you get in those specialties where it's obvious what the answer is, then you can see how you can get into that hero complex, or even like cardiothoracic surgery or neurosurgery. But what I've learned is that we really have to learn how to step out of the hero identity or the rescuer identity, which comes from the drama triangle from Dr. Stephen Cartman from the 60s. Because when we identify as hero or rescuer, our patient now is more of a victim. They become a victim. You cannot have a hero or a rescuer without a victim, and often a villain or a persecutor. And so that's not necessary to enter a drama triangle with our patients.
Well, and I think you're highlighting that it's not necessary for you to have, a huge ego complex or be someone like that. Like, it's kind of drawn into it, and you're doing it even in a way that maybe isn't pounding your chest, but you're still doing it. So tell us more.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's so obvious, it's shown to us that culture, this is a prestigious profession. And so if we go through it expecting respect, expecting certain things, it's a very different mindset to think humbly and think like, I am just a human being who happened to learn whatever they teach in medical school at this period of time for 4 years. And then I did a 5 or 6 year training or more. And I learned some cool skills with my hands, and I have this cool muscle memory that I can fix this problem. So it's very different to be like, hey, patient, you have this problem. It's really fortuitous that we're meeting because I have the ability to fix this problem and you have options. What do you want to do? And now we're putting on them, and then they're like, well, what are the risks and benefits? Like, this is what typically happens, but nothing's perfect. And these are the things that could happen. And if they do happen, I will show up in service to you. That is a very different way to approach it. It's approaching it from a coach's perspective. And the reason why it's so beneficial for surgeons is that when things inevitably don't go well, as they will, because no one's perfect, we're humans, and we can't control all the things that happen. We can't control the germs. People have infections, people bleed, things don't heal correctly. We don't make it mean anything about us. We don't take it personally and own it and make it mean something about our self-worth. When we are firmly in the belief that I am just going to show up in service to this patient, it is my job, but I don't believe I'm better than them, or I know more than them, or I am at some higher societal level than they are. I'm actually the same as them. It's a hard thing to wrap our heads around, a lot of us.
But you're also highlighting that there's benefits to this mindset or shift. Tell us more about the benefits of it.
Yeah, there's so many benefits. So the original drama triangle that Stephen Cartman came up with was victim, villain, and hero. And so the victim says, poor me, and they can't help themselves. They're always looking outside of themselves to find help. The villain also says, poor me, which is interesting. And the hero says, poor you. And so we'll often see this when patients come to us and say, that person screwed me up. they operated on me and it didn't go well. They're a villain. And if we went into the brain of the person that doctor this patient is talking about, that doctor might be thinking, that patient's crazy. Poor me. They're like defaming me. I did everything right and it just didn't work out well. And so it's very interesting how that happens. And then they often invite us in and say, hey, you hero me. You, Dr. Smith, I've read about you. That guy sucked, but I know you can help me. And so we have to be very careful about that, because when we take an invitation for hero or rescuer, we're also simultaneously allowing ourselves to become the villain. And so the patient can very quickly say, you didn't do it right. Now I'm going to vilify you. Better option is to use what David Emerald, this brilliant guy, came up with, is the empowerment dynamic, where the hero becomes the coach, which is what I kind of gave an example of. The villain becomes the challenger and the victim becomes the creator. And so instead of disempowering the patient by entering a drama triangle, we say, here's your problem. This is what I see. I wasn't there and present when you had that original surgery, so I can't speak to that. This is what is going on right now. These are your options. What do you want to do? And then we essentially invite them into becoming the creator of their own lives by giving them their power back.
Fantastic example. And I'm sure that many surgeons could come up with lots of examples, right?
And I think we all recognize how icky it is, right? When someone starts bad-mouthing another doctor and then telling us how great we are, and we're like, eek.
Well, and so, in the trauma world, we see patients that it is life that they're the victim of, like the accident or the person that caused the accident. And it's like, well, I get that, but I'm trying to empower them to get the recovery that they want, right? And move past the victim. Probably if you help me understand the framework better, I'll be more effective, even though I think I'm trying hard.
Yeah, no, I bet you. But yeah, it's like, I see that because it's normal for the humans to want to blame. When we are in a place of too much pain, we want to discharge it and blame some other entity. And so we're getting a lot of humans either in trauma or in sickness or illness or in some sort of surgical condition where they don't have the capacity to hold it. And so they want to blame someone else.
And we probably don't have time for a whole nother example, but maybe I can, maybe even outside the OR, outside the patient care, we're victim of our profession, victim of our job circumstances. So how do we empower ourselves or empower others that we see taking sort of victim, villain, hero roles?
Yes, so good. You're exactly right. When we decide that we are victims of a system or a healthcare structure, we don't change anything. We keep ourselves stuck and we don't move forward. So we have to ask ourselves, what can we create from this? What can we create from this situation? And just like Viktor Frankl created meaning from the atrocities of the Holocaust, he survived the Nazi death camp. If he can find meaning in that and create something from it and write Man's Search for Meaning and somehow reframe that whole experience into bettering his own life and touching the lives and hearts and lives of millions of people that read his stuff, we can find a way to create something from the current healthcare situation that we're in. And that's how we learn what our next right move is to make it better, to change it.
Fantastic. Mel, do me a favor. Give us kind of the take-home message.
Yeah, the take-home message is anytime you are feeling like a victim and you want to blame, you want to notice it. Ooh, I want to blame. And then ask yourself, what can I create from this? And then also when you see your patients inviting you, recognize it and try to move yourself out of hero. It's very enticing. And ask yourself, how can I coach them instead?
Fantastic. Great to bring it back to the coaching. Thank you so much, Mel, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
There you have it. In less than 10 minutes, this is Jeff Smith along with Dr. Mel Thacker. Until the next episode of Life Improvement Strategies for the Surgeon Who Wants More. Ciao.
Now, take 10 minutes and put your plan into action to practice your best.